Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And we got a hot one for you today, as per usual. But you know what time it is, man. Zoe's got some shout outs.
Hey, thank you for all listening. And I just want to thank the sponsors of this podcast today, Soul Fire Clothing and Oh Lord Youth Mentoring Organization. I appreciate y'all, man. Later.
All right, so this week we talking about, hey, whatever you gonna be, just don't be dumb. So strap in, let the Kings talk about it. All right, good people, and welcome back to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And as I am every single week, hey, you know who it is, man. It's Alan.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Twan, aka Twan. After my podcast, man. You know what time it is? Let's go.
It's your praying mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
Calvin D. Hill. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. This definitely is. I mean, even the title sounds like my title.
Hey, Alan. Hey,
Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah.
How are y'all doing? Y'all doing all right today? Y'all good? I know we've been on this podcast for a while, but are y'all doing okay today? Y'all doing good? Let's get the
Yeah,
formalities
man.
out the way.
Just
Everybody, Calvin, you
just
good?
I'm doing just fine.
Okay. All right. That's all I want to do. Hey, shout out to all those people out there that's sick with the crud. Yeah, man. I hope y'all feel better.
It is a lot of people out there sick, man.
I don't know what's going on out there, but it's crazy.
I know what's going on. Let me tell you what's going on.
What's going on, Alan?
People sick with the crud.
All right. Be smart out there. Be smarter. What's today's topic?
Today's topic is whatever you gonna be.
Don't be
Just
dumb.
don't be dumb.
So that's a bit in your face. So what do we?
Yeah.
What's going on with this? Where did this topic come
So,
from?
this topic came from my inability to deal with dumb or willful ignorance, right? And the way I look at willful ignorance, it's you believe a thing that already isn't true. And then when someone presents new information, you immediately reject that new information in favor of remaining where you are. You don't give it any thought. You don't give it any pause. You don't go try to find out, hey, could that information that I just heard about be accurate? You just like, nah, let me stay dumb. And so I just ain't never been down. I was reading, y'all remember, I've talked about it before, the 101 wisdom keys.
We
A
talked
guy
about
named
it.
Mike Murdoch, right? And one of the wisdom keys was the problem that infuriates you the most is the problem you were designed to solve. Now, I don't know if I was designed to solve it because I don't know how you can solve it. But the thing that really infuriates me to no end is dumb. Like, dumb just really bothers me, especially because I think people enjoy being loud and wrong. It's almost like it's almost like it's an epidemic of loud and wrong because all the loud and wrong voices get all of the attention. It doesn't really matter, what they're talking about. All the loud and wrong voices get all the attention. And it's even as a young lad, certainly as a full adult, but even as a young lad, just dumb always bothered me. Always did.
Give me an example.
Okay, here's an example. So, long time ago, back in the late 90s, I used to date a young lady that I would say was not all there. And there's a company that's
Was she
called
missing?
the
She was
Diamond.
missing a leg. What you mean? She wasn't all there.
Nah, she wasn't missing any appendages.
Okay, bet. All right, just make sure I'm following.
But so there's a diamond company called De Beers, DEBEERS, De Beers, one of the largest diamond companies on the planet.
Okay.
So in her, in high school, you write letters back and forth from time to time. You do that kind of thing. So she would write letters and say that she wanted a De Beers ring, spelled DE Bear BEARST ring. And I'm
Bro,
just,
That's a spelling error. That's just a
Bro.
misspelling. That's just misspelling.
bro,
how she pronounced it.
That's just misspelling.
that was a button for you, bro.
Oh, yes.
Gracious.
I know it never took much. It didn't take much, but it was definitely a button because you had to go to the mall and read this word, and you read the word as the beerest. So that wasn't the only thing. That's the example I'm giving. That was not the only thing that let me further know that intellectually we were just not in the same place. Even though we were in the same grade, went to the same school, we're just not in the same place.
But you might, I don't know.
Nah, nope. We can say that. I don't know that they are all there today either. So I just happen to remember this stuff. They probably don't remember it.
So how do you help individuals not be dumb?
Oh well, I mean, there's a couple ways, man. You can,
like what?
I usually just ask questions, like, "Are you sure that's how that's spelled? Are you sure that's how that's pronounced? Maybe especially these days, because maybe look it up on your phone. look it up on your phone.
Right. You ever thought about being a teacher?
I thought about being a teacher. Here's the problem with teachers. Compensation.
You can't do it for the money. Can't do it for the money. You gotta do it for the love of educating.
Nope, not at
and
all.
Enlightening.
No.
You gotta do it for the that's why our teachers do it.
That's why I was looking to be a college professor and not a school teacher. Problem is, by the time you get to college, it might be too late.
Well, what do you need to be a college professor? To help people not be dumb.
Yeah, I looked at it. I gotta get some additional education. Because you still gotta have teaching certifications. I was unaware, so I still gotta go get that stuff. At least that's what they were asking for. Now I don't know that every university. So I thought about looking at teaching at some some of the online universities, because they may not ask for the same credentials. Because if you had teaching experience already, then you didn't have to have any sort of certification. But you came into it with nothing, then you had to have some kind of teacher certification. So that's why I haven't done it yet.
But why does it bother you so much?
I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it is infuriating to me. I mean, like if you ever seen, like, is it Inside Out, where all the emotions are like it is just like that little red dude. It's infuriating.
That's not good.
When I am in the presence of ignorance.
That's not good.
Willful ignorance, to be specific. Like if somebody is just like, I don't know a thing, because that's all ignorance is you don't know. If somebody's like, I don't know a thing, but I want to learn a thing, I'm all good with that. Or they don't know a thing and they're in a space or in company where they can tell they're not the expert in this topic, and they just kind of sit back and listen, I'm all good with that. But when you definitely don't know nothing, and yes, I know that's a double negative for the listeners, but when you don't know nothing and you want to espouse your nothing that you don't know, that's when I'm like, maybe I need to be over there on the other side of the room, because it is infuriating.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I've been like that all my life. It's not like I developed this trait when I got older. No, I've always hated ignorance. Always.
Have you tried to help people not be ignorant?
I have tried to help people, but here's the problem. What I've tried to help people, yes, but the thing that happens is that I've learned over time, I should say, is that a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. Right. And so if their mind is not already open to receiving new information, then it doesn't matter what anybody says. I mean, it's one of the things that one of the reasons why, Calvin, that it was very easy for me to receive, because if I had been one of those people that's just like staunchly in their opinions all the time, when I finally found out that Christ wasn't born around Christmas, I would have just rejected that information, because people still do, even though there's nothing that's ever said that he was born around Christmas. They still just reject that information because that's what they want to continue to believe. And I was just never that person. My problem was, if I'm out here functioning on old programming, then I'm gonna get old results. I can't get new results without new information.
With that bit of enlightening information, what would that change for people?
Oh, well, it's going to depend on the person, man. I think that people would, one of two things, because some people do think that ignorance is bliss, right? I don't know that ignorance is bliss. I mean, ignorance leaves you unworried about some things because you don't know that you even should worry about it. You know, and I feel like there was something in Proverbs that kind of alluded to that fact. I just can't remember the verse, the chapter and verse, but so, you know, I think that you would have. I don't know if there is anything that you. What was the question? I forgot the question.
With that enlightening information that Jesus was not born around December the 25th.
Oh, okay.
Which is known as Christmas.
Right.
Which they say we celebrate that day.
I think
if they were enlightened to the fact that it was around the springtime, would that change anything?
It depends on the person. It changed a lot of things for me. The reason, though, is because now I'm like, okay, well, if this thing that I've been taught 20 plus years of my life is not correct, what else am I missing the mark on? What else is not correct? So it made me start to, okay, well, it's kind of like that. There was a story where, you know, the like granddaughter was helping her, well, the daughter was helping her mom with like Thanksgiving dinner or whatever.
And they cut the ham.
And they would every year they would cut the two ends of the ham off to put it into the oven. And you know, at one time, so the daughter asked the mother, she was like, well, why do we cut the two ends of the ham off? And she's like, I don't know. That's just the way my mother always did it. So then one year they went back and asked the grandmother, you know, her mom's mom, and said, you know, well, why did you cut the ends of the ham off? And she was just like, well, it couldn't fit in the pan I had. So I had to cut the two ends of the ham off in order for it to fit. And it's like, so you've been out here operating for 2 generations on programming that you didn't need because you weren't in the same situation as the person that created the information. It also was enlightening to me, now not to, I'm sure, a lot of people, but when I thought about the fact that for those that do believe dinosaurs existed, that George Washington, the first president of the United States, had no idea about dinosaurs. So for anybody that lived before that, dinosaurs did not exist for those people. And now today, we didn't know what you want to believe, know that dinosaurs existed. We find them all over the world.
Fake news.
Exactly. Fake. So we find
how's that fake news? You got the bones.
Because it doesn't, nope, because somebody buried them like 20 minutes before they came to dig them up.
The bones.
Yep. Because for some reason in the 1700s,
we need to thoroughly investigate those folks who supposedly found those bones.
Okay? Right. We got to go back doing exhumation of those folks from the 1700s that started finding dinosaur bones. And we need, but I had who did I had a conversation with? I had a conversation with somebody about that. It's like they were like, well, why didn't we find dinosaurs before that? And I was like, well, for like 3,000 years, the tallest building in the world was the pyramids. For like 3 millennia, until the Eiffel Tower was built. Actually, it was a church in London that was built. So until the 1700s and 1800s, nothing on the planet was taller than the pyramids. Nothing. And it just so happened to be built in an arid region where there weren't any. They didn't find any dinosaur bones. Right. So it's like, but most people don't even think they don't think through the problem. They just like, it can't be real. It can't be real because why didn't we find them before now? And it's like, well, we didn't start building skyscrapers. We didn't start building. We used to start building on the ground. We didn't start building. We didn't start digging down to go up. That's a recent thing. But now we dig down so that we can build taller buildings with less physical width and footprint, right? Because the Eiffel Tower sits on 4 big old legs.
Calvin, you mentioned helping people who do not accept the reality, the truth that is, and that has been proven. You said, why don't you help them? Is that what you, am I correct?
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Am I following correctly?
That's what I asked Alan.
Gotcha. Alan, what was your response again? In the short form? What was your answer? Did you say help them?
No. He
You
said those.
Okay, cool. All right.
He said those that you have convinced.
Oh yeah, if you got essentially you got to convince somebody, then they're not going to change their opinion.
Okay.
You got to heavily convince them. When I found that new information about December 25th, nobody had to convince me. I was like, really? And then I had to go look it up.
Gotcha.
And then I was like,
looked it up, and what did you find?
That yeah, but I didn't have to go far because I was like, you know what? You're right. The text that we using ain't never said that. And then if we reading it properly, and just using a little bit of logic, but I know logic is a hard deal sometimes. But if we're using a little bit of logic, then it's like, yeah, you're right. This does look more springtime than it does December 25th. So I didn't even have to go far. I could use the information from the book that we supposed to be reading and get the information. So it wasn't even so. Yes, I that's the only thing you do. You give people the information and then they got to go find out for themselves. The problem I think most people have is we live in a time where the information changes, and a lot of people do not have their brain is not their thinking process is not elastic enough to change when the information changes. Because 20 years ago, AI wasn't a thing. Now you can't avoid it.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, shout out to all those people who have done the research and have what? So shout out to those who have done the research. That can be from knowing how to spell words correctly. That can be anywhere from just doing your own research because it's something that you look into as far as fixing cars and just car models and math and all this. So whatever field you in or whatever you are into, shout out to you for doing the research and learning and having an open mind. And I hope that you are confident enough to correct those around you that have decided to be dumb. Okay. and I'm real because I say that because I know a lot of people because I'm not.
It's gentle correction.
Gentle correction. Yeah, I'm not saying make him feel like, don't belittle nobody, but still just have the fortitude to say, hey man, that's not how you spell that, or that's not how you say that. Because I say things a lot that's wrong. Like one time, um, shout out to Bitchfish, man. We was in the shop and they were talking about Miranda rights.
Yep.
And I'm not, just because sometimes I I mispronounce words and I say things wrong. I might even spell things wrong. So I said maracas, and they fried me,
I'm
bro.
sure they
They
did.
fried me, bro. When I
Morocco.
say they fried me, I came to work the next day and they had a picture of maracas in my locker. So all that to say, and I took the correction, what I'm saying, I didn't take it to heart because I was wrong. I wasn't gonna stand by it and say, yo, this is what it is. But just a simple example of how you can be wrong in the slightest way. And for those who don't have an open mind to receive that, you can be saying maracas for the rest of your lifetime, man.
Right.
Just take the L. You were wrong. I was wrong. You take the L, you learn from it, and you move on.
Morocco
I
rights.
know Morocco rights, right? And there's a few other things that I jacked up, but I'm not the smartest person. I wouldn't say I'm the sharpest tool in the drawer, but I got some wit about me to make sure that if I don't know something, I am going to find out. I'm gonna do my own research. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And
shout out to everybody out there correcting folks, man, in a
to
gentle
me, that's
way.
all that's required, man. That's why I prefaced it by saying willful ignorance. Like you want to remain that way.
Oh no, never that. Every day, honestly, every day people should be striving to be better than what they were yesterday. So if you have problems spelling, man, go just get you. They got a whole bunch of apps out here for you, baby. Don't be ignorant.
Mm, mm, mm.
Also, I mean, yeah. Also, I don't know.
It's
I don't know how true it is. I have to look it up. But one of the things I learned a while ago is that if you want to improve your vocabulary, that one of the things you can do is read more. Because for most, yeah, read. Because
read. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
cooking. But because most people, not everybody, I found that it's not everybody, but the vast majority of people, when they read a book or read anything, they read in an internal voice, like they really hear themselves in their head reading.
I do
Um,
that.
and so that
Right.
also means that you are talking essentially in your head. And so the when you read a book, you are talking the book into your mind, and you can utilize that to then improve your vocabulary. Because if you read books, depending on the books that you read, there's going to always, you're going to come across a word that's like, what the heck is this word? You might be able to tell what it probably means in the context of the sentence, but you still may need to go and say, well, let me look this up on my phone or dictionary.com or somewhere in the dictionary I got in the house or something,
Immediately.
and see what this means and how to spell it. And because like when it is always crazy to me, because the Rock had all these people saying copacetic, except the word is copacetic, but people say copacetic, and it's like that's so you were just watching WWE like I was, and that's how you got the word, because the Rock used it all the time. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, but the word is copacetic. There's no
So at what point? No, I ain't gonna ask that
well.
question.
What's the question? What's the question? What's the
No, I'm
question?
saying that at what point do you? I hate to say it this way, but it is what it is. At what point do you stop being dumb? Like what it? Because there's a
Well,
lot of people. There's a
man.
lot of people. There's a lot of people that will take information, not vetting it, not verifying it, and just run with the narrative. And like, why not
Yes,
do the research?
Because
you got people out here thinking there's laws that's going on and procedures and things of that nature, not knowing that is not even remotely close to what the reality is.
right.
And you would rather stand by that than to actually take the L. Yo, I was wrong, and just do better. At what point do you stop being willfully ignorant? Is what I guess that's my question.
Oh, well, we can ask Calvin.
Calvin,
That's a choice.
at what
That's a choice.
point
That's a choice.
That's a
That's
choice?
a choice.
Okay.
Can't rob people of choice.
So we say.
Rob them of their free will?
Yeah, you can give them two parties to vote for, but you can't rob them of choice.
This mother, this mother.
Well, they
I
might.
can't with you, man. I can't with
Are they
you.
trying it? There's already somebody that's introduced legislation so that somebody can get a third term.
Oh, I did see. Did you send that to me?
Yeah.
Was that you,
He's
Alan?
gonna get it too. He's gonna get it too.
Or they're trying to change, make amendments.
Yeah, and they're saying as long as you don't do 2 consecutive terms, you can do a third.
Right. They're gonna do it too.
Here's the thing. I don't know why you want it. I don't know why you would want an 80 at that point in time, 84-year-old to be president.
I got a question. Country. How old was
Joe Biden? He would have been 81. He'd have been the oldest president that was sworn in, which is what he was the last time.
So what's the difference? So that's crazy, man.
Difference
it's always a narrative.
Get rid of both of them.
That's crazy. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay for this 80-year-old plus person to be in office, but now it's all of a sudden it's okay. Come on, man.
Yeah. You gotta be your 80-year-old person, not the other.
Your 80-year-old person.
But again, this is where we come back to willful ignorance. And in that case, it's not even ignorance. It's an intentional misleading of the populace so that they can get their way. But they can only do that because of the current state of education and critical thinking in the United States. It's the only reason you can get away with that. There's a lot of countries you couldn't get away with some of the stuff that's going on. We know that because you don't get away with it.
Yeah. I'll say this, and you got what you asked for when it comes to the policies and procedures that's going to be put in place. So you got what you asked for, man. I hope you're happy with it. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, depends on what to say.
That's all I got to say about
closing
that.
Thoughts there, Calvin. Do you
give me the music? No closing thoughts. All right, cool. Bet I got something for you, man. I got something. Just got a few things, man. So, with all that has been said, thank y'all for sharing. I appreciate it, Alan. Thank you for coming forth with this topic because there's a lot of ignorance out here. Willful ignorance out here. As for me and my household, though, we don't really tolerate it too much, man. I have a thing to where if you're going to be that way, then I have to separate myself from that atmosphere of willful ignorance. You can be, as this title says, you can be dumb all by yourself. All right. don't expect me to participate in that. And if I do find out something is not what it is, then I'm up out of there, man. Easy peasy. I don't hear no music. But Alan, do you have any closing thoughts?
Oh, the music was playing.
Okay, copy that.
No, I would just say, look, man, I think one of the easiest ways to begin to reverse willful ignorance is just reading. But I saw a stat that said that the vast majority of adults never read after they finish school, never read another book again the rest of their life from cover to cover. Not one book. Zero.
And watch what you're reading too, man. It's not you can't read everything,
I mean, you can as long as you read whatever is on the opposite. If you're reading nonfiction, then as long as you read something that's on the opposite end of that. So if you read something that's very progressive, for an example, then read something that's very conservative. and make up your own mind. That's all. To take in all the ideas and then make up your own mind on what makes sense to you. Not based on biases, just based on facts. But I know facts are hard to come by these days. So anyway.
All right. I like it. I respect that.
We're going to see y'all young people next week.
Young people.
Young people.
Yeah.